I apologize about that, guys. I got associates of applied science, you know what I'm saying, and paralegal technology. And then I went on to the University of Southern Mississippi and I took classes in political science, you know what I'm saying? Total, I got 169 college credits, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that you just going to college is what makes you intelligent. You know, if someone just goes to college, I'm not thinking that's what makes them smart, but what makes you, what college does do is college trains and teaches your brain how to critically think. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for that, man. If you guys don't know, we just did the Tax the Rich tour. You know what I'm saying? I always want to tell people I started in Mississippi, but I didn't actually start in Mississippi. I actually started the Tax the Rich tour in Peekskill, New York. From Peekskill, New York, you know what I'm saying, we went to White Plains. From White Plains, went to Queens, and from Jamaica, Queens, and from Jamaica, Queens, like up here on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. That's where we at right now. That's where we're gonna start today. As you guys viewing this content after it was pre-recorded, I asked when y'all come in a live stream, if you guys don't mind that y'all double tap the screen for me. Just like the video. It's free to show someone love. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Also, guys, you know what I'm saying, I just want to let you guys know, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, I know if y'all watching this after it's pre-recorded, you can't get in the comment section. I mean, you can get in the comment section, you can't get in the chat, but I welcome all of you guys to leave comments today, man, because this morning with the content, we are going to be talking about, was it an error for President Trump to go to war with Iran? If you guys don't know, I'm an independent man. I'm right in the middle of the road, literally. On social issues, I'm conservative. And I think most of America is on social issues. I think I am the epitome of where the majority of Americans are. I think on social issues, most of Americans, they are not in support of two gay people getting married. I might be wrong about that. I know they don't support transgenders. You know what I'm saying? And on social issues, you know what I'm saying? Like, most people, they just stand with conservatives. That's just factual. But on economic issues, I stand with progressives. I stand with Democrats. I believe that you giving a rich man a tax break and you know, trying to take money from poor people, I think that's almost a sin. So I'm an independent. Understand where I'm coming from, okay? So I'm going to start this conversation because we talking about, was it an error for the United States to go to war? So I'm going to start this conversation from the view of President Trump. How else could we start it? If we talking about who made the error, you know what I'm saying? So let's look at it. So President Trump, and like I said, guys, I'm an independent. I'm going to try to be as fair as with this as possible. So President Trump, in his first term, he tore up an agreement that President Obama had negotiated with the Iranians to include several European nations. He even got the Chinese involved. And they came up with an agreement. According to the agreement, and according to what I heard President Obama said, they removed 97% of the enriched uranium from Iran. And at the same time, Iran had to allow inspectors to go in and to make sure they're not continuing to build their nuclear program. Now, for most opponents who were against this agreement, because see, this is what I'm saying, I don't know how much of an opinion that President Trump is having that's really his opinion. And I'll break that down. What I mean is, you guys come into the live stream, make sure y'all like the video and y'all get down in the chat and let me know how y'all feel. I don't care what party y'all are. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you're talking about a deal between the United States and between Iran over a nuclear weapon, I'm saying the specifics of that deal, I'm not sure how much President Trump actually saying in his mind that, hey, this is a bad deal. Hey, we giving Iran too much money. I'm not sure I know President Trump, he even know. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about when the deal first happens. This is what happened. President Trump, he takes the side of his party, which is supposed to happen. He takes the side of the Republicans, and in large part, from what my understanding is, one of the largest vocal opponents to President Obama's deal with Iran was Lindsey Graham. So I'm saying this is pre-President Trump taking office. In 2016, 2017, I'm saying right now, President Trump has a pretty good grip on world affairs. That's what I believe. I'm telling y'all Democrats, y'all give me a second, because y'all might be like, Ghost, you tripping. That man is messing up everything. Y'all get down there in the comments, have the conversation. What I'm saying is right now, today, after he been president for 6 years, he has a pretty good understanding of what happening in the world, what's going on in the world. You got to understand that. He's seen it before. He's seen some sort of something that he's facing today before. You know, but his first term, though, this ain't no politician. He wasn't a governor. It wasn't like he's seeing the same thing from the governor. He's making a tough executive decision as a governor. He wasn't a governor. He wasn't a senator. He wasn't a politician. He was a businessman. You see what I'm saying? In his first term. And he had a set of make America great again. We not going to get involved in foreign wars. He had vision. I've heard President Trump. How many of y'all heard President Trump speak about Iran? He spoke about Iran before. It's not like he hasn't had an opinion about Iran. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about opinion that includes action. I'm saying, in my opinion, I don't even know President Trump would know that that deal was a bad deal on his own with Iran. I think that opinion came from Lindsey Graham and other Republicans who just oppose President Obama. That's just, they do the same thing. Look, President Trump might know a little bit more about healthcare. So his opinion about, you know what I'm saying, Obamacare might be a little bit more, you know, a professional opinion, might be just this much more. But what I'm trying to say is though, even though he might know about healthcare or he might know about business, still and all, he opposing President Obama's deal with Iran, in my opinion, largely in part because it's the opposite party. Anything that the Republicans do, the Democrats, y'all remember during President Biden's administration, like getting close to the election, he wants to address immigration. And he talking about closing the border, and he had a comprehensive immigration bill that he was trying to get passed, that President Trump told the Republicans, even though they agreed to vote for it, it was going to get passed. President Trump, he told the Republicans to not vote for that. Y'all remember that bill? He told them not to vote for it. You know why he told them not to vote for it? Because it's beneficial for him. If he gets the credit, yeah, it was beneficial for him if he got the credit and looked strong on immigration. This is an election, a campaign. He needs all of this for him and his party. You know what I'm talking about? So it's common for different politicians from, like, no, everything Obama did, we overturning it. President Biden did it. President Trump did it this term. He got rid of all of President Biden's second President Biden. He got rid of all of President Biden's executive orders, tore them up, got rid of them, burned them, everything, trash can. He overturned everything President Biden did. That's important to know. That's playing politics. We got to stop doing that. You know, people in Mississippi, Alabama, and some states, they can't even get Obamacare to this day. I'm talking about, if we look at the state of Mississippi, you talking about the most teen pregnancies, top 5 in diabetes, top 5 in heart disease, top 5 in pretty much every unhealthy. It's probably the unhealthiest state in the union. And at the time, it was top 5 poor states. So you unhealthy and you poor. Y'all need Obamacare, but due to the politics of it, you see what I'm saying? They never accepted the Affordable Care Act. Y'all need to understand that politics, we got to get out of playing politics. But we ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the error. Was it an error made? So President Trump, in my opinion, and I told y'all why I gave y'all why I have my opinion. It's all based in logic. President Trump and his mind moving forward, listening to the opinion of Lindsey Graham and others who had like a better understanding, I would say, of world politics and everything like that, geopolitics. President Trump, listening to the Republican opinion, he decided to tear up President Obama's deal with Iran. That was his decision. I don't think when he tore it up, as a matter of fact, I tell you, I know for a fact, when he tore it up, he didn't know what he was doing. I don't think Lindsey Graham had no idea what was going on. I don't think they knew what was going on. I don't think they really thought this through. Like, what else did you think was gonna happen? What else? When you tear up Barack Obama's deal, we're not talking about improving it. We're not talking about trying to renegotiate. We going back to 2017 when President Trump tears up Barack Obama's deal with Iran. Basically, you put war on the table. It's like at that moment, at that time, it's like you know you're going to go to war. What else is left? That is the peace. That is the negotiations. I'm saying you got to think about it. Who didn't think about it before you tore up Obama's deal? Because I'm saying if you thinking about it, I'm saying how else you going to get Iran to make a deal with you? Oh, President Obama, he took 3 747s, he emptied out the seats, he filled them up with all the money for the banks. You know what I'm saying? There in Washington, D.C., there wasn't no money nowhere for the banks, and he gave Iran all that money. I'm saying how else you going to make a deal with Iran? The deal that President Trump, and I don't know this for a fact, somebody, yeah, you already know what's coming. Because I don't know this for a fact, but somebody could go research it for me. Even though the United States wasn't going to be the ones to give Iran that $400 billion, they still was finna get paid. They was finna get some bread, bro. The United States going to lift sanctions. The United States going to unfreeze assets, and we talking about billions of dollars. Iran was set. I'm talking about with the lifting of those sanctions. If you talking about the complete lifting of sanctions for Iran to open up the market for them, the whole market, no U.S. sanctions, anybody in the world could buy Iranian oil. They were set to make $1 trillion, in my opinion, within 10 years or less. They were going to get $1 trillion off that deal, guaranteed. And I don't know this for a fact. Somebody could research this and let me know. Y'all, I see y'all down there having a conversation in the chat. But what I'm trying to say is that they might would have got more money from President Trump and them than President Obama. I don't care if the Gulf states were the ones that's paying the $400 billion. Somebody gonna have to pay them the money. So what I'm saying, so we don't lose track of the argument, is to get you where I'm going. What I'm trying to tell you is, I'm saying no one thought it out. Lindsey Graham, the Republicans, all of them, no one thought it out when you tore up the deal. It's just like Obamacare. We can't have that Obamacare because that makes the Democrats and the communists look good. The socialists, how you know how the Republicans talk, whatever they saying. So we can't have that Obama. You're not thinking about the people. You're thinking about the survival of the Republican Party. It's about the Republican Party, and Democrats don't feel too good because y'all do the same thing. It's about the Democrats. And my first argument is, if we saying, did President Trump err whenever he went to war with Iran, we gonna keep going, but I want you to get you to see where it started at. I think when he tore up that deal, it was a mistake, because I don't think he's going to be able to get a deal with Iran. That's why we talked about that yesterday. I'm not gonna relitigate that. All you gotta do is go back and watch yesterday's live stream. You know what I'm saying? And you'll know I told you. I told you the reasons why. I don't think he's going to be able to get a deal with Iran. So where we stand at is you tore up a deal. If it's about you, if it's about the Republican Party, good morning, Bon White, then yeah, tear up the deal. Get a better deal. That's politics as usual. But it's not about you, President Trump. It never was. It's not about the Republican Party to Lindsey Graham and all them. It never was. Rest in peace, Lindsey Graham. It's about America. So I'm saying you tearing up that deal, was that good for America? President Obama negotiated the deal. President Trump is the one who tore the deal up. You know what I'm saying? So that gives the Iranians now, I'm saying he come in there, he tearing up the deal, and he probably got his personal opinions about the Iranians. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying we gonna get to that. I don't think his opinions about them are misguided. It's not like they're great people or something. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, it's easy for him to fall in the trap. Lindsey Graham not by himself. He got his little group of Republicans who's saying that's a stupid deal, you just making them rich, you just yada, 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 yada. I'm saying, who thought about the Strait of Hormuz when you tore up that deal? That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't have the people right strategizing with you. You got to think 30 steps ahead, man. 30 steps ahead. If it's about the Republicans and if it's about President Trump, then it was right to tear up the deal. If it's about America, was it right in hindsight to tear up that deal? That's a question for y'all to discuss. So he tears up the deal. We get through his first term, and I think that's why a lot of Americans voted for him. 2017, 2018, you know what I'm saying? 2019, I think that's why he got reelected. Before COVID, his GDP was phenomenal. You talking about record growth? Before COVID, I'm saying it wasn't the kind of growth like it is now, where it's just rich people getting rich. In many ways, this second term Trump was nothing like that first term Trump. Nothing like it. In that first term Trump, wages for black people increased. I'm talking about some of the largest numbers we've seen in a long time. In that first term Trump presidency, I'm saying overall wages for America increased. What was inflation in that first term Trump presidency? That's what I'm saying. COVID came, people didn't blame him for COVID, in large part because he gave away a lot of money, and he gave, even though let me take that back. A lot of younger people and low propensity voters who don't understand didn't blame him for COVID. You know what I'm saying? I got the thought for you. I just be skipping over trying to get to where we going. I think I need to say that because that's important. A lot of low propensity voters and a lot of voters that, you know what I'm saying, are younger voters that Charlie Kirk was working on, you know, they don't understand that what mismanagement of a business is. You know, President Trump first term, if you were 19 years old and you were voted in 2024 at 19 years old, and President Trump's first term, I'm saying, you talking about take away 8 years, they were 11. They were 11 years old. These are the people Charlie Kirk reaching out to. And then you get to college at 18, you pop up Charlie Kirk, President Trump, look, sound cool, McDonald's, Mickey D's, say cheese. Those voters, they not thinking like the older voters. The older voters, they know to some extent what President Trump did with COVID. They have a better understanding. And they're probably less forgiving. They got more wisdom. But the younger voters, they're more forgiving. They looking at President Biden looking bad, falling down the stairs at Air Force One. You already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that's important for us to say, but let's not lose track of where we going. Let's keep going, though. You know? So President Trump, he get past his first term, he get to his second term, and he running for election. And I want to say this because this is important. For all y'all Republicans who say, hey, it's your personal duty to go get a job, you bum. Stop begging for money, you bum. For all y'all Republicans who say that, make sure you say that before you get a candidate who's running for office. Make sure that candidate running for election say he ain't finna do past nothing, give nothing to the American people. Make sure you get him to say that against Dr. El-Said or against Mayor Mondami, that he ain't got nothing to do. Because I'm telling you, Mayor Mondami, 200,000 new affordable houses he building in the city of New York. Block by block, that's the name of the project. I'm talking about his first, 7, 8 months in, he already working, he cooking, he grinding for the people. And I'm saying he addressing one of the biggest problems in New York. I'm going to build almost 250,000 brand new affordable houses in the city. So I'm saying you got a politician like that who we just looked in August at his approval ratings. His approval ratings, you got 69% of New Yorkers with favorable views of the mayor. That's almost 7 in 10 New Yorkers with favorable views of the mayor, and he ain't done yet helping the people, boy. He ain't done yet. He just got started. It's just year number 1. Because I'm saying I'm in New York City in 4 years. See, you know he got my vote. Not only he got my vote, he got the thousands of people that I'm going to speak with to bring with me. Real talk. That's what you're supposed to be doing, helping the people. But let's not get too deep off into it. But I just want to say, you know, President Trump, he get reelected. Ain't nobody in their mind. How many people in this live stream can honestly say that you knew President Trump was going to go to war in his second term? How many people could say you had the slightest inclination? Because I know I had an inclination, not that he would go to war, that he wouldn't be able to manage everything that was already out there. Asia was on fire. He's saying in his first day on the job that he gonna end the war with Israel and Palestine. He's saying his first day on the job, he gonna call up Vladimir Putin and it's gonna be over with. We not thinking he finna go to war. And I'm saying, who would be thinking about Iran? Because he already tore up the deal, but little did he know it's not Joe Biden's responsibility to make sure the Iranians aren't going right back and enriching uranium with that money President Obama gave him. You got to understand, look, it starts off with the politics, man. The politics is everything in this. We got to stop playing politics. The CIA, the military got to assure that in this next deal and the transition of power, there's no politics played. Understand something. President Obama, with that deal that he had, if Hillary Clinton becomes president, she got 3 million more votes than him. The people voted for her more than him. If she becomes president, does she rip up President Obama's deal? Yes or no? If Hillary Clinton becomes president, does she rip up President Obama's deal? Yes or no? You know she don't rip it up. So I'm saying, I'm going to give them however much money. I think President Trump said 450 million was on the airplanes. However much money he gave them, I'm going to give them this much money. Sure, they're going to get ballistic missiles. Sure, they're going to build up their Shahed drones. Sure, they're going to become a dominant power with the money. But I can't make a deal with them no other way. President Trump found that out. Because see, President Trump, for you ripping up that deal, you not going to get no deal with them. Not you as president. That's the only way to get the deal, President Trump. Now you could give them more money than President Obama was going to give them, and you still not going to get a deal. It's not easy to make a deal with them. You should have thought that through. So I'm saying he ripped up the deal. He becomes president the second term. When he becomes president during the time of Joe Biden, sure, they did get ballistic missiles, a bunch of them. Sure, they did get Shahed drones. They got a whole bunch of them. But this is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, how you going to blame that on President Obama or President Biden whenever you ripped up the deal? I'm saying you got inspectors going into Iran. You become president. Can you imagine President Trump president and inspectors going into Iran? It wouldn't happen now. We couldn't imagine it. Iran would shoot them inspectors on sight. It's impossible for that to happen. But I'm saying when you became president the first time, inspectors were allowed to go into Iran. You could have been in charge of that. He could have came and redid the deal. That's not it, because of politics, and they hated Obama so bad, he had to rip it up. But when President Obama, regardless if it was good or bad, what you think when he met, because President Trump gonna have to give him even more money. What I'm saying with the next president, you can't come rip up no deals. You gotta let it stay in place. Because if it's President Obama or President Trump is making a deal, they're not doing it with the consideration that I'm gonna give them a whole bunch of money. President Trump, in effect, he's the one. He is the one that made them what they are. He's the one that gave them the missiles. Just like whenever we went in, you don't have to blame President Trump, whoever told him to rip up the deal. Just like whenever we went in and we trained Osama bin Laden and we armed the Taliban to fight against Putin or against Russia, we never had a clue that they're gonna use whatever we taught them against us. It was that kind of situation. You see what I'm saying? It's unintended consequences. You gotta know. You have to. This is why I'm saying the era to go to war with Iran, it happened before he decided to listen to Benjamin Netanyahu. You have to know. With all that money President Obama gave him, when you rip up the deal and remove the inspectors, you know what they finna do. First order of business. Man, I'm telling you, the Iranians probably threw a party when President Trump ripped up that deal. You're not thinking about what you're doing. Lindsey Graham, bless his poor heart, he gone. Y'all still, we to this day, the Republicans, if I could talk to Mike Johnson, it was a bad deal, Ghost. Yeah, it was a horrible deal. Maybe I'll give you all of that. But you realize with this horrible deal, when I rip this up, the inspector's gone and we just gave them a boatload of money. What's the first thing they gonna do? We could go home, right? I solved the problem. I'm gonna do it every time. If I rip up this deal, right now today, I rip up this deal. It's a bad deal, Ghost. He gave him a bunch of money. How you gonna get the money back? You can't get that money back. After President Obama finished his administration, by the time you get in there, they already got the ballistic missiles. They already got the scientists. They already got everything they need to start with that nuclear material again. They got everything. They finna get right back to it. As soon as I rip this deal up, I'm saying, Lindsey Graham, did he tell him, President Trump, listen, as soon as you rip up that deal, as soon as you rip it up now, you do remember one of the reasons we ripping up this deal is because President Obama gave him so much money. Hey, that's one of the reasons the deal got to get ripped up, because President Obama gave him too much money. So do you realize, Lindsey, when we rip up this deal now, what they gonna do with that money? Okay, because I'm President Trump and we Lindsey Graham and BB don't like this deal. When we rip up this deal and we stop the inspectors from going into Iran, the first thing they gonna do with them boatloads of American dollars, what's the first thing they gonna do with it? Ain't nobody that smart. They too smart. That's the problem in America. Our politicians are too smart. You can spell, but you so smart you dumb. I'm saying he can't think like Ghost. You see what I'm saying? Ghost just think like that. That's natural. I don't have to go read no books. I don't have to do nothing, boy. That's God-given. The next thought. I'm talking about my next thought is nobody in the room when he was ripping up that deal said that. Nobody in the room, because if anybody in the room with President Trump, when he decided to rip up President Obama's deal, said, hey, this is a horrible deal. I got my opinion on it, because I don't think that you're going to get no better deal than that. I think that's the best deal President Trump could have got. President Obama could have got. I think that's the best deal. I think he this close to being lucky to getting that deal. And I told you how he got it. The Europeans, that's how he got the deal. President Trump don't want to use the Europeans. He ain't going to get no deal. That's how that's going to end. Because y'all think y'all know everything and you don't want to listen to people who smarter than you. Don't listen to Ghost. You don't want to listen to General Kane. That's the soldier above every other soldier in the military that you put in charge. You picked him. I'm hearing General Kane telling you empire has its limits. This the military man. The military man saying that we don't need to use the military to solve this problem. That should be all your cues right there. Then I hear Vice President Vance. You see what I'm saying? He might look at, oh, JD, he only 39 and that's political. You just looking out for your political future, JD. He might look at JD like that, but he can't shoot General Kane. How many wars you done fought, President Trump? How many wars you done fought in? Then go talk to that decorated general. That's why you chose him. Plus, he got a good disposition, and you still ain't listening to him. That's what I'm saying. But getting past that point, all I'm saying is whose fault was it that we are in this situation with Iran? What I said yesterday, I predict to be a forever war. They might not be at a full-fledged conflict, because I don't think President Trump gonna fight the war to where, like President Bush did, to where it's a full-fledged invasion of Iran, ground troops and all. They ain't gonna be in, it might not be no full-fledged conflict, but I think them skirmishes with what looks like a full-fledged conflict will ruffle up and scuffle up for a while. It might last or date President Trump's whole presidency. I think when the skirmishes and the fighting and the shooting stops, I don't think the United States or no country in the world will get their hand on Iran's nuclear dust. And if it stops in President Trump under his administration, I don't think he's going to have no deal with Iran. That's what I believe, man. I just don't believe it. I don't see it. And if we talking about whose fault was it, I'm saying we could go back to that deal he tore up. That's the first thing we could go back to. Not only he tore the deal up, what else he did? Didn't he put sanctions on Iran at the same time he tore up the deal? I don't know that for a fact, but that's only making sense. I know that's America's MO. I know that's how America get down. Either they gonna be for you or against you. And if they for, it's they in between on some, but I'm saying if they for you, you know what I'm saying, then of course he ain't gonna have sanctions, but if he against you, he tear up a deal. And Lindsey Graham saying that we gave him too much money. I know Lindsey Graham, I know the people talking to President Trump know that we gave Iran too much money, because that's one of the reasons why they complained about the deal, but they didn't understand. Not only one of the reasons why they complained about the deal, they actually said that Iran with this money is gonna go do A, B, C, or D. It's unbelievable how much buffoons they are. They said, listen, we don't like this deal. This deal give too much money to Iran. Like they gonna go get ballistic missiles and Shahed drones. And we got inspectors going in there, but this just giving power to our enemies. They're building their military. We don't like this deal. I'm saying that nobody said, okay, we stopped the American inspectors going into Iran, then probably almost immediately they gonna do exactly what you said they was gonna do. They listen, whoever told President Trump to tear up that deal, they were trying to get President Trump to go to war with Iran. Yeah. Whoever told President Trump to tear up that deal, and nothing else makes sense. Why wouldn't it? In his first term. In his first term. Whoever told him to tear up that deal, it seemed like the only appropriate thing was to go to war with Iran at that time. That's all you could do. Or to do something else besides sanctions. Because I'm saying President Biden come in and the Democrats, they hard on Iran too, but they just had a different approach. And when President Biden came in, it wasn't his responsibility. His predecessor, when President Biden was VP, they had fixed the problem with Iran for 10, 15 years, however long the deal was. They had fixed the problem. So I'm saying President Biden, in his mind, he not thinking he gonna get in the White House and he gonna try to work on Iran. That should have been done when President Trump tore up that deal. It should have been done when he tore up the deal the first time. Because predicate on the deal was having inspectors that were able to go in Iran. Listen, President Trump might have said, listen, in 10 years, I know that this is not going to be a good situation. This deal that they made with Iran, in 10 years, I know that Iran's going to be real powerful. And we're going to have to go destroy a lot of their ballistic missiles. Listen, in hindsight, tell me if I'm wrong. This is why they gonna watch Ghost, because I give them a different perspective. You see what I'm saying? Tell me if I'm wrong. It's like The deep state, let's say the deep state, whoever it is, the CIA, the military, whoever, all the money that Iran, all the money they got from the United States. See, I'm saying I'm trying to play devil's advocate and help you out. President Trump, he had to go to war with them. He had to. He didn't have no choice. What else he was going to do? He tore up the deal. They took the money, regardless if the deal was bad or not. They took the money. They went and bought a whole bunch of weapons. They started enriching uranium again. There ain't no American inspectors going in. There's nobody really watching. I'm saying in my mind, he had to go to war. What else he was going to do? All that money they got from America, they went and got all those missiles, all the drones. And it's like he going back in and he trying to fix. But it wasn't President Obama's mistake. He gave him the money, but he gave him the money and he was going to allow. Listen, after you went to war with Iran, I'm saying after we decided to go to war with them and actually fight them, after we made that decision, man, I'm saying we see the results. You see the results. You see that when you tore up that deal, that was a mistake. Tell me how we don't see that now. Because thank you for the donation. If anybody want to donate to the channel, hit that button with the $sign in it. Because what I'm saying is how you can't see it. It's clearly seen. It's clearly seen at this point. I think President Trump, he realizes. I think President Trump today, he sees that he made a ginormous error for deciding to attack Iran. And President Trump is sitting there looking for every single way he can escape out of this situation, and he cannot. When he decided to do it, he said he was only going to be there for a few weeks. I'm saying we could talk about Benjamin on February 11 going to the White House with his presentation, the same presentation he gave President Barack Obama. President Biden, same presentation he gave President Clinton. He gave President Bush that presentation. He gave every American president that presentation since Jimmy Carter. But see, the other presidents, they didn't fall for the bait. President Trump did. It's almost like he had to. I'm not trying to make no excuses for him, because the error occurred was when he tore up the deal. The money President Obama gave them might have helped Iran build up their military. You might be right about that. Oh, no, Ghost, you taking their side. Yeah, you don't want to give President Obama's a responsibility in this situation. The money you gave him, you know he took that money and they built up that. That's where they get all the ballistic missiles. That's why they so strong, and we having such a problem with them right now because of that money President Obama gave them. And President Trump got to go in there and he's got to fix all that and make them weaker due to all that money. So what you think that were gonna happen when the Gulf states gave him $400 billion? You think they main concern gonna be rebuilding buildings? You think you could give them just a little bit less money to what they need to, or them buildings will stay flattened for them new. All they care about is being a power. These men are thirsty and they lust for power and control. And they hate the United States. You see what I'm saying? All things were not considered when President Trump, he tore up that deal. Because I think that's where the error occurred at. You had to realize that, hey, for the good of America, for the sake of America now, let's understand what's really going on. What's really going on for the sake of America is that, yeah, sure, they're going to have they got a lot of money and they're going to purchase weapons. They're not going to help their people for the sake of America. But if I tear up this deal right now, we do not have eyes in Iran no more. And if we don't have eyes in Iran no more, we already said what they gonna do with the money. We already said what they gonna do. As soon as we tear up the deal, the eyes removed from Iran. And as soon as the eyes removed from Iran, guess what they do? First thing they do is get to the business, get to the ballistic missiles, get to everything else. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying President Trump got to realize he got to know the same thing will happen with him. Same exact thing with him and his deal and everything else. I'm saying, like, was it an error, y'all? Was it a mistake? Because I'm saying now we look at the situation and the place we are in. If this is how you gonna judge if if America won this war. And yeah, you could blame President Trump all you want to, but what the Democrats don't realize is you are a part of America as well as the Republicans are. So if America, that means all of us are gonna suffer. We are all paying higher gas prices. We are all having higher inflation. While Mayor Mondami is in New York trying to build affordable houses for New Yorkers. If you don't have a good mayor or you don't have a good governor, and you one of the over 200 million Americans making less than $100,000 a year, if you got a family, you struggling. A lot of people single struggling with $100,000 a year. The majority of Americans are not doing good. President Trump telling you the economy good. How the economy could be good, big dog? We lost over 1 million jobs since you've been president. You done had, I'm talking about more months of negative job growth than, I'm saying I don't understand where the Republicans are coming from and where they're seeing it. They're not seeing it like the rest of the American people are seeing it. And that's why Mayor Mondami has a 70% approval rating. I want to use him, Speaker Johnson, if I could speak to you directly, sir, if it were possible. I want to use Mayor Mondami, who you calling a communist, and show you that y'all are going to have to adapt to what's going on. The American people, they are looking for politicians who are willing to not enrich themselves to the tune of over $2.5 billion and who would rather roll up their sleeves and do something for them. That's what's going on in America right now, y'all. I'm saying we could talk about the war right now. I got y'all to a point to understand President Trump, he almost didn't have a choice. When the CIA looked at the board, listen, it's not just about Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's not just about Lindsey Graham. They helped push President Trump into that. When the CIA looked at the board, one of your biggest adversaries then became just ginormous power. That's the problems we having with them right now. The CIA seen how strong Iran was before we. So it's a double whammy. Putin, he goes over there and Putin tries to attack, you know what I'm saying, Ukraine, and he loses 500,000 people. That's a whole active army. And he loses billions of dollars of equipment, over half of his equipment. We talking about Humvees, the Russian equivalent, big artillery, missiles, all of that. On top of that, they're having to import oil. But I just want to give you that quick picture. And then if we talking about the CIA, they got to be looking how strong Iran is and say, hey, we got to take out their military capabilities. That's why I said if you had to do that, President Trump, you should have left in 3 weeks. You should have left in 3 weeks. You should have let Israel do it. Why Israel couldn't do it? Because I'm saying the first time you bombed them because you said Israel don't have the bombs and they close to having a nuclear. Okay, we understand that. It's simple and over. But at that time, Israel and Iran had got in a 12-day war. If the CIA had gave you objectives, you should have let Israel. Benjamin, listen, come here real quick. You coming to me with a pitch, I got a pitch for you. So this is what I'm going to do, Benjamin. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bomb them sites because we know they got powerful and I tore up that deal. And you know, under my watch, under President Trump's watch, Kim Jong-un got a nuclear weapon. Under President Trump's watch. Yeah, under his watch. So President Trump in his mind, after he went and gal pal with him, Kim Jong-un make him look stupid. He like, oh man, I can't have this to happen again. This can't happen again. And I did tear up the deal. See, we got to think a little deeper. Benjamin didn't just convince him like that. It's other factors to it, to where he was looking at the picture. And he was like, he just ain't coming out and telling y'all, but ghosts can discern. That's what y'all see that? I got God, that's God given. That ain't something you could read in the book. He looking at the chessboard, and I'm talking about in this administration, he done looked and he said, in the CIA, they saying, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard said, yeah, they ain't got no weapon that can hit America. That's true. They ain't got no weapon that's true. But Tulsi Gabbard said that, hey, listen, them boys, they done got powerful. They got ballistic missiles, they got precision-guided weapons, they got sea drones, they got Shahed drones. Iran became a powerhouse. It's like you sitting there knocking Putin down or crippling Putin's military capability with Ukraine, because I promise you, after this conflict with Ukraine, Putin probably ain't gonna be there within 3 years. I don't think he gonna last past this conflict. If he don't lose this conflict, he might not. I don't think he gonna last past it. He paid too much of a price for Russia to lose this war. Russia don't believe in losing war. You just got to understand their history. So if he does make it past this, if he finagles his way, I think he got 2-3 years tops. And then Russia gonna get a new leader, and they got a weaker military, much weaker military. I think that was the CIA's ultimate goal on why they had Ukraine to go. They wanted to weaken Putin's buildup off that oil money. They building militaries over there. Our opponents, our enemies. China's doing it now. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying the original goal, President Trump, he just got himself in a situation because it was tough for him to manage it. It's just tough for him to manage it. But in his mind, he felt like he had to go over there, and he had, like General Kane said, our goals was to decrease their ability to wreak havoc on their neighbors. And in large part, that's due to President Trump tearing up a deal. He tore up that deal. You don't have inspectors there no more. You don't have no sort of relationship with America no more. And due to that, Iran got to the business of getting back on the great Satan's head. That's what they call America, the great Satan. Their biggest adversaries, the United States. They want the power and the strength. So with China and Russia joint together, they get together and they start building up their military. Just like the Republicans said would happen. Just like they said what happened. But my problem is though, you knew they were going to build that military. Why you withdraw those inspectors and tear up the deal? You should have fixed that deal. Hey, Iran, this is what President Trump should have did. Let me come talk to you. I think that's a bad deal that my predecessor gave you, but I want to build a new relationship with you. Maybe President Trump didn't do that. I don't know. He was over there trying to gal-pal with Kim Jong-un. He should have been gal-palling with the supreme leader, in my opinion. Because I think Iran is a bigger problem than North Korea. I think China is going to check North Korea. If you guys know the history between North Korea and China, I think China not only would check North Korea, but protect North Korea. Due to the fact that the Chinese, they are not of the same ethnicity, first of all, as the Persians, some of them. But I'm saying in large part, and due to the fact that the Chinese are not, their state isn't Muslim and the Iranians are, I don't think they have as good of a relationship with the Iranians as they do with the North Koreans. Okay? And plus the proximity of the nations. So I think President Trump would have been better advised out of two dictators that you didn't want to have a nuclear weapon. It's not Kim Jong-un. He spent a lot of time with Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un got the nuclear weapon. Who you didn't want to have the nuclear weapon was Iran. So I'm saying, if you this is a bad deal. This is what I'm talking about, judgment. This is what I'm talking about. If he don't really know if Lindsey Graham to come to me and tell me that he gonna tear up that deal, I'm gonna tell Lindsey Graham, if we tear up that deal, we gonna have to end up going to war with them. Because Lindsey, you already know with that money, what they probably was doing it when the American inspectors coming in there, probably still was doing it. Lindsey, you already know that as soon as we tear up this deal, or before, they already doing it right now. So Lindsey, I don't think it's the right to tear the deal up, Lindsay. I think that you tearing the deal up would mean we're going to have to go to war with Iran, and we're going to have a problem with the Strait of Hormuz. So when Benjamin came to February the 11th and he made my pitch, we would have went to the situation room. I would have got General Kane. I'd be like, Obama, real cool with the CIA. They the smart people, the intelligence. They know what's going on. I bring a couple of them in there. I bring Benjamin in there. I brought the whole team in there. Top secret meeting. Ghost, this is what Ghost told me to do, y'all. I want to introduce y'all to the fat black dude in the corner. His name, he called himself Big Ghostwriter, but this is what he told me to do, and this make a whole lot of sense. This is what we need to do. We gonna hit them because Israel don't have the bunker buster bombs. They don't have the equipment, so we gonna hit them. Ghost is against us hitting them. He said we need to sell those bombs and those fighter jet, the C-130, whatever, dropping them bunker busters. He said we need to sell them to Israel. You know what I'm saying? Ghost said he ain't for America's finest sorties, but I'm not listening to Ghost. I'm president. I'm going to override him. We going to go ahead and hit him. Okay? When we hit him, Israel and Iran going to get involved in the war. When Israel and Iran get involved in the war, all those 24,000 targets, 25,000 targets, they should have been on the CIA list that first time. Because I think that the CIA wanted them targets gone. They wanted them gone. They just had to get gone. I'm saying we gave you 450 million. Well, let me say this. Let's say if you going behind the scenes, good morning, and let's say you are American operative or a CIA agent. CIA might not have been for that deal President Obama made with him, but they just say, hey, we can't do nothing about it. This is what he did with him. So we gave him all this much money. President Trump tore up the deal, so we sitting him watching them getting powerful. We watching them get these ballistic missiles, all this havoc they charge. We were sitting there watching them do this. And while we watching them do this, we identifying the targets America hit, about 25,000 American and Israel. We identified 25,000 targets that'll negate most of that 450 million or however much money. See, that's why it don't matter. Y'all trying to get caught up in the individual numbers. I'm trying to give you the whole picture. However much money it was that President Obama gave them. We trying to negate that buildup that they did with that money. See, the CIA, they nonpartisan. They just concerned. One of the nation that's screaming death to Israel and a nation that screams death to America and saying that America is their biggest opponent or rival, President Trump just don't know how to say it right. He don't know how to talk. Them boys done built up that military. They powerful. They strong. President Trump don't think that the American people is valuable to tell them. You could just go out there and just tell them some half truth. Oh, they got a nuclear bomb. You ain't telling them the whole story. That's the problem. And that's why that's why he in the mess that he in right now. That's half of it. And the rest of it, he ain't listening. Because if the American people had the patience for him to fight this war, he could go and finish the job. He can't finish the job because the American people got him handcuffed. You ain't telling them what's going on. You ain't explaining it to them correctly. And I'm telling y'all this morning, that's what happened. And so the CIA, they looking at the chessboard and then we done got, just like the Republicans said, the power done build up. But the problem is President Trump, because you tore up the deal. That's what the real problem is. You helped President Obama, or you listen, if President Obama gave him all the money to get the weapons, President Trump, you green-lighted. They might have had the money sitting over there in the ice freezer, President Trump, and you told him, go ahead and do what we think you finna do. By tearing up that deal, oh yeah, we know you got that money, you're gonna build weapons with it. Let me tear up this deal and remove the inspector so you could go ahead and do it. So now you're gonna have to confront them. So I'm saying if the goal was, because I believe the CIA, President Trump, he got all this intelligence, he knows. He knows the Iranians built up, he know they strong, he know they problem, he might be really trying to negotiate with them. That's fine, that's cool. Really try to negotiate with them. But all I'm saying is, even if you really trying to negotiate with them, I'm saying what happened you come up with a deal with them? I'm saying, and they gonna sit there and become as powerful as Russia. They got all the equipment and stuff. The CIA kind of don't want no deal. They kind of want you to go ahead and knock down some of that just like Ukraine did to Russia. And I guarantee you, Russia won't be fighting no war 10 years after they over with Ukraine. For at least 10 years, Russia ain't gonna be interested in war. They gotta build back up. And Iran ain't gonna be interested in war after this. They gonna have to build back up. That's why it ain't no sense in. They might as well stay there and keep fighting with America. You know what I'm saying? Go on, get it all out of our system. That's probably how they feeling. That's probably what they thinking. Get it all gone. You know what I'm talking about? So President Trump and CIA, they like, man, they big, they strong, and they powerful. He just misplanned it. I'm talking about, we know Benjamin came and pitched him February 11th. So they had an idea what they were going to do. President Trump didn't strike him in July, but they knew they was going to get on Iran. They knew it was coming. I mean, after February 11th, they knew they was going to get on Iran. They knew it was coming. So I'm saying, if you notice, you just got to develop the strategy. The CIA saying they done got big and powerful. So look, Israel, we know Benjamin, you want to smoke with them, you're going to have to pay the consequences and the prices. You're going to have to launch the largest air assault in Israeli history, and we'll help you out with the drones. And we just going to fly our drones, no American pilots, no American gas, no American F-35s that we own with our pilots. We going to fly our drones, and you go fly your, this 12-day war, we going to hit them 25,000 targets, and we going to get on down. If America doesn't get involved in diminishing the Iranians' power, the Americans had the aircraft carriers there, the Americans had the Marines there, the Americans got the influence there, the power. If America doesn't get involved, or you gotta get in and get out, that's the only way you can be sure that the Strait won't be in the situation it's in now. If you stay there with them and you sitting there pounding them, I'm saying you gotta know the strategy. I'm saying, who didn't think that they was gonna go try to take control of the Strait? You sitting here pounding the snot out of us. What we got to lose now? We want full-fledged war with America. I'm saying, look, you done knocked 3 of my teeth out. It's a fight to the death. I'm trying to kill you now. You see what I'm saying? If you beat me, you beat me, but I'm gonna just keep fighting you to the death. Well, I'm gonna let you come back in 6 months and all, like, nah. I'm saying that's why President Trump, he hit him while he was negotiating. He ain't really trying to negotiate. You see what I'm saying? I think that's what it is. I think he wasn't really trying to negotiate. I think what he really trying to do is surprise them. You know, might be some slipping, some intelligence, you know, trying to find out what they really have. That's what I believe, man. And that's the situation we in. But if I'm a judge whether or not he erred, the error came when he tore up President Obama's deal. That was politics. Even if it was a bad deal, you try to renegotiate something. If you can't renegotiate something, it's like this. I told you, making a deal, memorandum of understanding. You making a deal with them. So you gonna lift the sanctions, and you gonna get, I'm the loudest proponent because I know the only way we gonna get this war to stop is by paying somebody. Okay? It's all about the money. The Iranians then went and attacked the Strait. They thinking they gonna be able to charge $1 million toll for every ship that come through there. If 200 million ships come in and 200 million ships go out, I mean, you see, that's a whole lot of money every day. That's more money if they could charge that $1 million toll. They gonna make in a week than $1 trillion that was on the table in that deal. That's why they ain't accepting the deal. You done made them, let them think that they was gonna be able to control the Strait. I'm saying, listen, I want to say this because I forgot this thought. I'm finna get in the comments anyway. We've been streaming for an hour. 2 things we gonna judge if President Trump and America wins in this war. What's the 2 things? Number 1, the nuclear dust. If he don't get the nuclear dust, and number 2, the Strait of Hormuz. If the Strait of Hormuz went back where it was at the beginning of the war, how you won? You got the Houthis, they in the other strait on the side of Saudi Arabia. They trying to shut that one down. Those are the 2 biggest things. The Iranians controlling the Strait of Hormuz affects all of America. It diminishes American power. There was no tolls, no fees, free traffic through the strait, and then the United States chose to attack out. This is the rest of the world looking at it. What I just told y'all for an hour, that's going on behind the scenes with the CIA and President Trump and the overall strategy. We are strategizing with Ghost Rider. That's what I'm gonna talk, strategy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to watch, if your mind, I ain't gonna tell you to watch CNN, because CNN, that's for grown, intelligent people too. You might need to watch Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You know what I'm saying? That's some entertainment. That's why we do that for children, because they mind can't, this ain't no child's mind. This is highly intelligent. Yeah, this is intelligence, natural intelligence. It's boring, just like artificial intelligence. That's what intelligence is. I'm a thinker. And because I'm a thinker, that's how I could tell. I ain't reading no intelligence reports. No, I sit here and tell all of America's secrets. And nobody ain't told me nothing. I could just look in the situation and tell you that's what's going on. Somebody with some knowledge, they looked at Iran, they said, forget what Benjamin talking about. They said, forget what President Obama talking about. Forget what President Trump talking about. Them dudes that got too strong and too powerful. And we need to knock down some of that power. We need to knock down some of that strength. President Trump, it's just on you, big dog, on how you handle it. It's on you, big dog, on how you handle it. The CIA just telling you the problem. I'm telling you how Ghost would have handled it. I would have let Israel do that. The strait would still be open. Israel would have knocked down them 25,000 targets and they would have went home. You see what I'm saying? When I negotiate with them, I'm going to negotiate with the aircraft carriers. I wouldn't negotiate with them before like that. But you got the aircraft carriers out there now. You done put the aircraft carriers out there now. So that's what you negotiate with. You done went to the Trump card all the way to the end with the, you done went and got the gun. So now that you got the gun, you can't put the gun away. Yeah, they gonna get a whole lot of money. But you can't put the gun away. You gotta keep the gun out on them. You gotta keep the aircraft carriers on them. You got to keep the pressure on them. Negotiate with them under pressure. That's what it seemed like they did. They still lifted the sanctions. They still lifted the sanctions. Oh, y'all that's what they doing to me. They trying to put me under pressure, negotiate with me under pressure. But see, the difference is with me, I'm smarter than the Iranians. I'm gonna tax you. Everything you do, I'm gonna tax you. NYPD, what's up, baby? Everything you do, I'm gonna tax you. You get taxed. That's the difference between me and the Iranians. But that's what you do to them. I make them negotiate under pressure. Real talk. That's what I would have did. Let them aircraft carriers stay there, keep the pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm saying, like, the memorandum of understanding, I mean, it would have worked. But Iran, they just had different plans. That's not what they wanted. They wanted to get a fee from off the Strait of Hormuz. They know President Trump got elections going on. Another thing is, I know he thought he was going to be in and out, but I'm saying he had to known that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be a problem. So if you knew the Strait of Hormuz was going to be a problem, I'm saying, why'd you stay there? Why you stay so long? Y'all know, if y'all here, y'all been here, y'all know I said, if y'all was here during that time, y'all know I said 3 weeks in and out. It's the reason why I said that. And I thought that Israel should have played a larger part. I think that we should pass a law in the United States, every single conflict that happens in the world. Look, Ukraine, that's not a NATO partner. Ukraine's not a NATO partner, but the way we look at Ukraine, Zelensky, the strongest warrior in the world right now. Look at Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? Look how good they doing against what was thought to be the second power in the world before they fought that fight. Before they fought that fight, it was thought that Russia was second to America in military might. Now Russia done dropped down under China. They might be under India. Real talk. They might be under Turkey. They might be Russia. Iran gonna jump Russia in power. That's what's on the table. Iran to become second to China in power, might, and authority in Asia. Russia is looked to follow to number 3. That's what's on the table if you let the Iranians control the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran's gonna keep on fighting. They don't want to give up control of the strait. That's what's going on. That's what the business is. Did President Trump err when he decided to go to war with Iran? I know y'all heard me say he had to, but I told you where the error was. Tearing up that deal. He shouldn't have tore up the deal. I think that's where the error was. If you had to hit Iran and take away some of their military power, the way they did it wasn't the way to do it. Point blank. It wasn't the way to do it. And that's all there is to it. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Dave says Trump is a Russian plant. I don't believe that. That's not what I believe. I don't believe that President Trump is a Russian plant. I just think he's a businessman who wasn't suited for the job. That's my opinion. It sounds tough, and you know, all the Republicans, y'all say, oh, Ghost, you got a lot of cases in federal court. You need that. I'll put the cases in state court. Governor Hochul, Mayor Mondami, I'll put it in state court. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to tell the truth, man. I'm not like you. If my boss is molesting a 14-year-old back there in the room, I'm going to tell him. That's the difference between me and you. I tell people that, too. The guys I hang out with, I tell them that. I tell them I'm a legal dude. And I know y'all probably street dudes, but I'm not a street dude. I'm a legal person. I'm going to tell on you, I'm a civil prosecutor, whether you want to believe it or not. Whether you want to think it's fake or not, God don't care what you believe. The courts don't care what you believe. The law don't care what you believe. I'm a civil prosecutor. That's what and who I am. I prosecute cases. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just be real. And even though, like, y'all hear me come on here and I just tell you the truth, I think President Trump was a businessman. He wasn't suited to manage 2 wars in the world. I don't care what he was saying about his relationship with Putin. We see politics. He might have some sort of relationship with Putin, but he thinking of in a business world sense. Oh, you know how business in the business world, you know how we do business in America, how business works in America. That's how he was talking about with his relationship with Putin. Oh, I know Elon Musk. It's like President Trump was talking about to us with a problem that we were having with Elon or with Tesla. Oh, I know Elon Musk. Man, as soon as I get elected, the first day I'm going to pick up the phone and call Elon and I'll have that settled. And with Elon, he probably will. As a businessman, he probably could have had it settled. The American business leaders, they don't seem like they have too much of a problem listening to him. He is definitely the undisputed leader of the business world. That's my opinion in America, definitely. But when we talking about geopolitics, that's something different. That's not on President Trump's problem. That's not on President Trump, the American people. They just made a misjudgment when they voted. American people they just made a misjudgment. And that's what it happened. Trump being a Russian plant, that's just not true. It might seem like, you might feel like that because that's just what poor decision making looks like. Poor decision making looks like you might be on the other side. Trump is a freaking criminal. You are the one that licks his... If you listen to this live stream today, and you would think that I'll lick President Trump's booty, then something's wrong with you. Because I think that President Trump, if he listened to the live stream, he would be highly upset with this live stream. He would be highly upset with this content. If you knew I had cases in federal court and President Trump's relationship with Supreme Court justices, and if you guys believe that the courts and President Trump are as corrupt as you say they are, then I wouldn't be talking like this. You see what I'm saying? But I got more discernment than that. Y'all know that discernment I got, this part, hey, how you doing? This part of that discernment. You know what I'm saying? Because my discernment is I got faith in God. I'm going to believe in God. I'm going to trust in God regardless of what's going on. If that is, I mean, that's a wild thought to me. Somebody telling me that you got a case in federal court, and because he cool with the Supreme Court, he just going to call the lower court judge, and that's a wild thought to me. That is crazy. But somebody didn't told it to me. A dude told me that to my face. He said, oh, we didn't call President Trump. He said, you ain't living in reality. You gonna lose. A dude out here told me in my face. A dude told me, you trying to sue some rich Jews. I promise you I can't believe they saying this to my face. I'm trying to sue rich Jews. I gotta stand up for this one. Let this lady pass by. I gotta stand up for this one because I gotta explain something to you because you're not getting it. It's okay to sue a rich Christian, but it ain't okay to sue a rich Jew. What's wrong with your mind? That's why I say y'all on fentanyl or y'all on crack. That's why I say y'all dumb. See, listen, there's somebody in y'all circle who don't believe, who not stupid. But I'm saying you got the stupid people out front talking. Because they thinking that in their mind, they still stuck in some kind of box that's thinking that, oh, you gonna sue a rich Jew. Boy, I done sue all kind of rich people. That's all I sue is rich people. I don't care if you a Jew. I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Buddhist. First of all, number one, I know you slow. Let me help you out. Number one, all I sue is rich people. So what's a rich Jew? Y'all don't watch my content. That's the problem. You ain't watching the vlogs. Watch We the People number 10. Exit out this live stream, go click on the video tab. You might think it's boring. You looking for Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you? We talking serious stuff. This ain't Scooby-Doo, bruh. This ain't Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? You want to be entertained? We do that for children, for kid brains. This is for the intelligent people. Go back and watch the content and see for yourself. We the People number 10. I sue rich people, boy. Taxing the rich. You see what I'm saying? I ain't suing nobody poor or broke. How you gonna get some money? So if all I'm suing is rich people, what I care if you a Jew? What's that matter to me? Because you saying the Jews are connected? I'm saying that comment that he made right there. If Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, if one of them would have heard that, that's everything they talking about in America. That just sound like some corruption. And if I was a Jew, I wouldn't want you saying that. Especially in today's environment. You think you just saying it to me like, oh, it's not no big deal. You know, oh, we got rich Jews in President Trump. So you making the Jews sound corrupt and President Trump sound corrupt. You dirty in their name. You trying to sound like you cool, like you got some kind of connection with President Trump or a rich Jew, but you making them sound corrupt. That's what I'm saying. What's her name? Lanella says Trump is a criminal. He has been convicted of crimes, baby. That's facts. What can I say? That's factual. What can I say? Hey, someone said I'm a boy named Sue. That's not what my name is. I'm a boy named Protect and Defend U.S. Law. I remember when I was in the military, I raised my right hand and I put my left hand on the Bible. And I do solemnly swear to protect and defend not President Trump, not the Secretary of Defense. I do solemnly swear. My goodness, bruh. I think that's the girl from yesterday, y'all. Oh my goodness, man. Listen, I do solemnly swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution, that's what them troops are defending. Not President Trump's political agendas. I'm putting my hand on the Bible, not Barack Obama's political agendas. As a soldier, we gonna just follow orders, but I'm just telling you what the pledge is: to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So, as a litigator, I'm doing the same thing. I'm defending the rights of disabled people, of marginalized people. I am defending the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's all I'm doing. I'm defending. If you don't do nothing to get sued, you won't get sued. If you getting sued, it's because you doing something to get sued. Thank you for the donation, baby. I don't know how else to say it. It's not about being like that's why I say they dumb. Because they think they could do stuff and not get away with it. They know they gonna get sued. They know they gonna get sued, and they still do it. And try to make it seem like I'm complicit in any way, in anything that's going on. I promise you, if I had your boy, I sued a family member. I sued a family member. I ain't talking about no sister and no brother, or no cousin or no uncle. I sued a close family member before. So when you tell me a rich Jew, what's a rich Jew? I know about the United States law, boy. You heard that? I know about U.S. code, boy. That U.S. code don't say that we gonna let you make it if you a rich Jew. No, you gotta follow the law. That's our problem in America. You think we got two laws written. We got law for the rich people and laws for the poor. And only the poor gotta follow the law. The rich Jews gotta follow the law. The rich Muslims gotta follow the law. The rich Christians gotta follow the law. I don't care who you are. I'm different than you. I'm not corrupt. That rich Jew talk is for corrupt people. I don't care what and who you are. I don't care if you ugly. I don't care if you pretty. I don't care if you a girl. Boy, I'm a civil prosecutor. Imagine a criminal prosecutor like Letitia James. Only certain people could do this. Your mind is a corrupt mind. You can't do what I do. I don't have a corrupt mind, boy. Whatever you do, whoever it is, I don't care who it is. The law apply in y'all's mind. The law only applies to the poor. I know rich Jew. I know a rich Jew. I'ma get away with it. You can't win on the Upper West Side because I know a rich Jew. You trying to tell me the Jews control the federal court? Why I'm filing a lawsuit with the federal court? Where the rich Jew organization at? I'ma file a lawsuit with them. It ain't no federal court, no federal law. Well, we just gonna throw the Constitution away. We gonna throw away the Americans Disabilities Act, and I'm gonna go file my lawsuit with the Rich Jew Association. Anybody know where the Rich Jew Association is so I can file this lawsuit? Because it don't make sense in filing it in the federal court if the rich Jews control the federal court and man, hey, I just don't believe you. That's the difference with me. Yeah, the court might be corrupt, but they not in control of the courts. I can promise you that. They not in complete control. Yeah, the courts might be corrupt, but President Trump is not in complete control of the courts. The courts have ruled against President Trump more than they ruled for him. You just don't understand that. I don't believe you. That's the problem. I don't believe you. I don't believe you know a power that's stronger than God. I don't believe you know a power that's stronger than Jesus Christ. The Jews don't even believe in Jesus. And that's my God who I pray to. What you talking to me about a rich Jew for, bro? I don't have nothing against him. I do business with them like I would anybody else. I protect and defend them. I believe if you go harass someone because of their religion, whether they're Jew, Muslim, or Christian, I think they need to throw the book at your forehead. That's what I think. I believe in defending the law. You understand that, boy? Y'all, you gotta know what I am. It's not about me. Call me, if I was a girl, they would call me Sue. I'm saying, what would you call any lawyer that filed? What would you call Benjamin Crump? That's his job. I'ma ferociously search for the truth. He don't talk like me. I'ma protect and defend that law. That's what I'ma do. That's what I do, boy. I delve in the law. Everything I speak to you gonna be the law, boy. If it's God's law or if it's a man's law, I'ma talk to you in the U.S. code. That's what I talk in, U.S. code. That's my code. You stick to the gangster code, what code you stick it to? The retard code, you stick it to I know a rich Jew and I know a rich President Trump code. I don't stick to that code. My code is the U.S. code and God's code. The Bible, the Holy Bible. All 66 books. That's my code. I'm not like you. You see what I'm saying? You gotta understand that. Not you, the person who talking. I'm suing them, baby. Alan, I'm suing them because they deserve to be sued. They gotta follow the law. That's my job. Whether you want to believe it or not. Whether you want to believe the cases are fake or not. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what's going on behind the curtain. That's not my responsibility. You understand that? What's going on behind the curtain's not my responsibility. How many views I get on YouTube to a certain degree, but YouTube is determining the viewership and some of those things, it's not my responsibility. I'm not like you. I know how to stay in my lane and play my role. I know my role. My role, whenever they kept tapping me, I could call a man's name right now. He kept tapping me on the shoulder and come get me. I was on the beach smoking weed, chasing girls. That's what I was trying to do, partying. He kept tapping me on the shoulder, come get me. When I came back and God, a vision. With my vision, he gave me a clear vision in 2022 of what my future was going to be. I lied to you. God gave me that vision of what my future was going to be in like 2018. He gave me the vision. I graduated, I graduated from junior college, and then I was at the University of Southern Mississippi, and right when I finished at the University of Southern Mississippi, I had went to put in a application for a paralegal. You see what I'm saying? In the city of New Orleans, this part of my testimony. For the city of New Orleans, to be a paralegal for the city of New Orleans. This is somebody who's been charged and convicted with felony, just like President Trump. 20-something years ago, President Trump, your stuff is new, though. My stuff is old, and it's been expunged. But I'm saying that that's what I went through when I was in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? And I interviewed to work as a city attorney for the city of New Orleans, as a paralegal. I didn't get the job. In 2018, I had that vision in 2018 that ameliorate legal. As a matter of fact, like it was something I had started called Pretty Girl DJs. I had that envision about ameliorate legal before I started Pretty Girl DJs in like 2016. Pretty Girl, my first business, I detail cars. My second business was a business called Pretty Girl DJs. My third business was ameliorate legal. Before I guard my witness, I had this vision. I just kept putting it back and I kept putting it off. I kept putting it back and I kept putting it off. So what happens is in 2022, situations kept happening to where I was able to defend the law or file a lawsuit. So when I started filing lawsuits, like my pops told me, he explained to me the game, human nature and stuff. And he explained to me, you know, that this ain't about justice. So during that time, in 2023, 2024, that's when I developed that my role and my job was to defend and protect civil law. That's my role and that's my job against anybody and everybody. If your city step out of line, if I sue your city and sue your police department, what's a rich Jew in your city? What's 30 Jews in your city? What's 30 rich Jews in your city if I sued your whole city? The smallest village I sued got 10,000 people in it. I'm finna sue a county with 2 million people. What's 30 rich Jews in a county of 2 million people? If I sue the county, then that's why I say you slow. You can't put it together. You see what I'm saying? You might be smart on the outside. You might could do algebra. You might could spell. But I'm saying as far as discernment, like I could look at that and I could look at somebody myself and I could predict every move that I make. That's how I'm able to predict everything my opponents do. I'm able to predict it. It looked like fraud. It looked like I'm working with whoever's doing it. It looks like that. Because it's just that when I sit there talk to the police, I'm sitting there, that's just who I am. I could see stuff that you can't see. And somebody like me, I could look at him, boy, that boy sue the city. He gonna sue the I'm gonna sue the federal government. That's what's gonna happen. You talking about President Trump, what's gonna happen when I file a lawsuit? If I can't get no justice in federal court, I'm going to state court. If I'm going to state court, what make it different, especially with Governor Hochul? Governor Hochul is making it possible in every way she can for ghosts to take anybody in the federal government to court. In New York, Governor Hochul making it possible for you to sue a person. I'm telling you, a lawsuit on a federal agent. You file a lawsuit on a personal federal agent in the state of New York, boy, that lawsuit gonna fly. Governor Hochul, I'm telling you, the legislator in New York, they done gave the power to the citizens to sue the federal government individually, boy, in state court. I'm saying, you thinking President Trump gonna help you or save you, or a rich Jew? They ain't got no power. Ain't no rich Jew died for my cross on the cross for my sins. President Trump didn't die on the cross for my sins, boy. Jesus did. I told you, Jesus. You can't swear to me to a name higher than Jesus. You can't swear to a name higher than Jesus. Who you gonna come to me saying what name? And I told you Jesus. You talking about President Trump and a rich Jew, you done fell and bumped your head. They don't have more power than Jesus do. Upper West Side, New York City, baby. I don't care where I'm at, I'm gonna give you the real. And then I'm gonna tax you. Follow the law. Somebody says corrupt. Listen, anybody who talks about harming anyone for their religion is in my wheelhouse. If someone practices Judaism, and they come to me and say that you discriminating on them due to their religion, I'll sue the boogers out your nose. I'll sue the boogers and the snot out your nose. You see, I'm doing my Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I'm trying to entertain you right now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I'm trying to entertain you right now. I'll sue the snot and the boogers out your nose. I don't discriminate on people because of religion. You the one thinks something special. To me, you saying a rich Jew is really racist. That's really, it's really religious, religious discrimination, a rich Jew. That's how he think he talking like in their favor. But you know how they always talk about Jews got money, and then you using their religion to describe this group of people. Oh, I'm gonna get some rich Christians on you. Some rich Christians on this building. You think Jews got more connections in America than Christians, then you done fell and bumped your head. You just focusing on the power and the connections that Jews have. You're not focusing on the power and the connection that the Christians have. This is America. If the Jews have more power in America than we do, why they ain't synagogues everywhere? Why there's churches everywhere? Hey, you gonna get it one day, man. I promise y'all get that one day. Dave, I'm funny and you out this live stream. I'm funny, Dave, and you gone. Lizzie say I'm high. I'm not high. Somebody says separation of church and state. That's true. Somebody said I'm wasting time. Well, why are you in the live stream? If I'm wasting time and you watching me, you wasting time too. Have a great day, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna help you out, not waste your time, and I'm gonna alleviate your pain and get you up out of here. Have a great day, man. I'm trying to have an adult conversation. I told y'all, if y'all want to be children, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Go watch Scooby-Doo. That's what children do. This adult conversation, bruh. Grown people talking. You know what I'm saying? The children stay in the room with the children and the grown-ups stay in the room with the grown-ups. Jesse said, hold that bus. It ain't no need for you to hold that bus, Jesse. You might need it, though. You could go ahead and get on it right now. I'm going to go and get you out of here. Somebody says using their religion, hold up, using their religion, not their religion. What? It is their religion. Jews, that's what with him saying they a Jew. What does that mean? They classify him by religion. He a Jew. If they classify him by nationality, they would say he's an Israeli or Israelite. If you saying he's a Jew, you classify him by his religion. A Jew don't have to be from Israel. You think you smart, y'all just not that smart. There's a bunch of Jews that's not from Israel. Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, is a Jew. I don't know if he's from Israel. There's probably more of Jews in America, you know what I'm saying, that ain't from Israel. Millions of them. I don't know what y'all talking about. Good morning, aloha kids. Baby, how you doing, sweetheart? I miss you. Brad says, Johnny, shut up, you You hear me? Get him, Johnny. Somebody says another Jew-hating socialist Nazi. There you go again. You just retarded. I just said if I catch you saying something discriminatory about the Jews, I'll sue the snot and the boogers out your nose. If I catch you saying something discriminatory about gay people, I'll do it too. I defend the law. It's about the law, man. I don't care about your religion, your color. I don't care how tall or short, fat, skinny. I am not superficial like you. You think everybody thinks like you. That's your problem. That's your problem. You haven't figured out that the whole world, that's why people think different. People, that's intentional. God intentionally made people different. And you want me to think like you. That's your problem. A manipulator. I don't think like you. I think different than you. You gotta learn to respect and understand different trains of thoughts. So when you learn to respect and understand that, then you'll get it. I'm not like you. I think different than you. Someone says First Amendment, yeah, freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to. Unless it breaks the law. You know what I'm saying? You can't call no black. If you think the First Amendment allow you to be racist, then go call a black person the N-word in the middle of Walmart in front of 300 black witnesses and see what's gonna happen to you. And let's say you a multi-millionaire, you're gonna be bankrupt because he could sue you for everything you got in your bank account for using that N-word. Well, you know, a lot of slander lawsuits, you don't have to you don't have to lose a job or go to no court to go to the hospital to get a slander lawsuit a lot of times. President Trump didn't go to no hospital or when he sued people for slander and got millions. He didn't have no damages. That's how it is with slander. He could say you slandered my name and I was gonna make $10 million, but that slander stopped me from making $10 million. And you're going to have to prove how he couldn't make that $10 million. And just you saying the wrong thing, he'll sue the snot and the boogers out your nose. It is the First Amendment, and it is a freedom of speech, but not when you're going against a U.S. code that says not to say this. I'm giving you a law that says you cannot do or behave like this, and you just doing whatever you want to do. So let's see who wins. I don't care how many rich Jews you know. And I don't care how many presidents you know. If God is greater than the devil, then right is greater than wrong. Good is greater than evil, and the truth is greater than the lie. How you gonna beat that? You just ain't smart enough to figure that out yet, but you smart. You could spell, you could do algebra, but you cannot figure out basic. You know what I'm saying? You can't figure it out. They just ain't getting it. If y'all haven't liked the video, y'all double tap that screen for me. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Somebody said the Republicans doing the worst in history. That's what my boy Brad said. Golly. Does color hurt you too? What you mean, does color hurt me? Nah, ain't nothing hurt me, boy. I'ma sue you. Remember what they said? If I was a male, my name would be Sue. I'ma sue you. What you talking about? This ain't got nothing to do with feelings. Listen, it might used to hurt me, but I got trained. I ain't got my feelings in this. This ain't about my feelings. This is about the law. You just don't understand that. Go slap a police officer in the face if you don't understand something about the law. I gotta break it down for you. You just that stupid. Some of these rich people used to just doing whatever they want to and never have to pay no consequences until they ran into ghosts. They ran into somebody make you pay consequences. Some of these people that today you run into Benjamin Crump. Benjamin Crump gonna make you pay consequences. Your president is practicing socialism as we speak. That is so true. Thank you, Brad, for bringing that to the light. One of the biggest injustices was taking the face off the side of the Washington Commander's helmet. Hey, go Giants, go Jets. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Saints fan. You know, I get in a lot of trouble for saying that, but I'm up here in New York. I got to show love to the people. Somebody said I jumped to sue. Nah, I'm not jumping to sue, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with suing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't jumping to sue at all. This ain't got nothing to do with suing. This got something to do with the law. Some people see a hearse. Y'all look at this hearse. Let's look at this hearse while it's here. Some people see a hearse, they think of death and they get scared. I don't think of death. Look, I walk up to this hearse and I see, make sure you're in compliance with the law. When you put me in the back of that, you just gonna know that this is a law person. I don't care what you do or say, boy, you better follow that law around me. You feel me? I make sure everybody complies with the law. Whenever you got me in a hearse, then I done finished my race. When you put me in there, I'ma stand before God like the Apostle Paul. Cause see, the Apostle Paul's mission was to deliver the gospel. My mission my mission is to deliver the gospel as a Christian, and I do that too. But in the process of doing that too, my main mission is to uphold that law. My God is a God of justice. So at all costs, as long as I'm doing what God wants me to do, at the end, when I stand before him, I'm gonna tell him what Paul said. I kept the faith. I fought the fight. I ran the race and I kept the faith. Because God is a God of justice. What, you don't think God is into protecting people with disabilities or black people? God's not into that. God's not into that. You can't find scriptures in the Bible. God sent comfort to feeble-minded. God talking about hating people. You don't find no scriptures in the Bible about that. God telling you to love someone. God telling you to turn the other cheek. You don't see no scriptures in the Bible to where God is a God of justice. He's a God of justice. Yeah, I ran the race. I fought the good fight. I ran my course and I kept the faith. That's why he came. Terry Collins, you don't understand why God came and tapped me on the shoulder and told you to come get me. You'll get it one day though. You know what I'm saying? The old pastor that I had, he told me, you got to know who you are, man. Ain't nobody could tell me who I am and who God made me. God giving it to me. I got wisdom and discernment that you don't have. How I'm going to listen to you? If y'all hadn't liked the video, go ahead, double tap the screen for me. Somebody says religious dogma. What's religious dogma? It's not religious dogma. Explain yourself, please. That's not religious dogma. You just don't believe in God. That's your problem. It's a choice. You choose to believe in whatever you believe. I choose to believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I'm going to say it loud and proud. I don't care where I'm at, what state. You know where I'm going to stand all 10. I don't care what you talking about. You can't shake my faith in God, boy. You could test my faith in God and you gonna get slaughtered. You gonna get 1,000 more lawsuits. Yeah, boy, this boy a warrior. That's what I'm saying. God gave us all missions. He gave us all jobs. We all got different jobs. My mission wasn't to I'm not a religious person. I'm not coming preaching the gospel. I talk to people about Jesus as a regular Christian. I'm not a preacher. My mission is to uphold that law. That's righteousness and justice. It's God's mission, whether you believe it or not. God don't, what you believe, that's on you. I'm gonna just tell you the truth. God told me whatever I believe in prayer, he said whatever I ask in prayer, that's what Jesus said. When I get up on my knees, if I believe it, he said it's already mine. I already beat you. You already paid. You could say whatever you want to out your mouth. That's what y'all get. And listen, I don't have no problems with the CIA. I'm not going to trust the CIA more than God's word. That's how we could get America out of a whole lot of problems with someone like me. I understand the politics and I understand the Bible. I almost understand the Bible like a preacher do. And I understand politics like a politician, or better. That's why you can't beat me. Certified quality says my aunt's sister, Scandinavian, they were poor and tried asking people to help. Nobody did, so they had to steal to survive, and they wiped out each race but kept some alive and spread them around places. That's horrible to know. Certified quality, good morning. Glad you in the live stream this morning. You know what I'm saying? Brad says, let's see, certified quality says slave today got nothing to do with today's days. Not everyone will slave people. That's true. That's true, y'all. Hold up, I'm sorry, but I'm talking about, I believe in corporate slavery. I believe the slave owners today are 813 billionaires that got more money than the federal government. And I just believe it's just it's the same system set up as it was in the slave days. What we do is the rich people got the money. We allow you to go to work, get your own job, but with the job that's really, to me, that's the slavery. Because basically they telling you when to come, they telling you when to go, they determining where you live at, how much money you make. You in a box when you on the clock, 9 to 5. To me, that's modern day slavery. If you punching the clock, in my opinion, you are really a slave. I don't care if you make $200,000 a year. You a rich slave. They had slaves back then who were rich. They weren't, you know what I'm saying? Them house Negroes. You a house Negro. You can't even see it. That's how smart you are. You can't even see it. They set up this system in corporate slavery. It ain't about color no more, it's about money. It's still about color to a certain extent, but it's just more about money, corporate slave. And you can't even see it. Somebody said, was I a believer before I was born? No, I wasn't a believer when I was born. My mother told me a story about when I was 5 years old and I looked up and I seen a picture of Jesus hanging on a cross. And she came around the corner and she said she saw me crying. I told her what was going on in my heart and mind at 5 years old. I was thinking, why would they do him like that? What did he do to deserve that? I'm saying he just hanging up there. He just looking so bad. And that's at 5 years old, but I wasn't born a believer. 5 years old, we went to a church 3 days a week. I got as much teaching in the Bible as I did in school. In grade school. So I graduate school, I joined the army, you know what I'm saying? And when I get out the army, I start selling drugs. And I got in trouble. Grew up in church, knew the truth, you know what I'm saying? Decided to go my own way. I came back at 30. I made a profession of faith. A lot of these people running around saying they're Christians, they're not really Christians, not real Christians. I made a profession of faith, Alvaro, but I wasn't really a Christian. I went out there, I was sleeping with a whole bunch of girls. I got saved, I accepted Christ in 2018, August of 2018. I became a born-again, blood-washed Christian. That's when I became a Christian. I'm not in no cult. I don't side with no religious groups. I don't side with them preachers. You see what I'm saying? Unless they talking about the blood of Jesus. I'm not a religious guy. I'm not a religious person. Jesus said that he purchased the modern church with his blood. You see what I'm saying? That first church, that the Hebrews and the Jews, that church was that was God ordained. And Jesus came and destroyed that church. And he made a new law. And Jesus gonna come destroy the church you sitting in too. You just don't know that. You don't understand that. I'm smarter than you. And when Jesus come destroy your church that you sitting in now, it's gonna be a new heaven and a new earth. It's gonna be a new law. Jesus, God is the law. He the one that's coming and delivering the law. And the latest law he gave to us is called Jesus. You see what I'm saying? So in 2018, I became a Christian. I purposed in my heart that I was going to follow Christ. Not like for what I know a lot of religious people, boy, and they so religious. I ain't making fun of people who Christians. I'm just saying because I'm a Christian. But y'all don't confuse me. I'm not like them. They think, listen, obedience is one of the greatest forms of worship. Like being obedient to God. As a Christian, you have to follow the Bible and follow the scriptures. You just don't get to pick and choose which one you follow. So when you judging someone else who not following the scriptures in the Bible, just understand that you can't be lying when you're doing that. You can't be slandering. You can't be backbiting. You can't be bearing false witness. You can't be abiding not in the truth. You got to understand that. You know, I'm just different. I'm not the same person. I am a Christian. I'm a born again, blood washed, sanctified child of God. Certified. That's what I am. But although I am a Christian, I'm not like a lot of religious people who are, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I have to be obedient. Yeah, you do have to be obedient. You know, if you go to a job and you got a worker who just doing too much. Now, look, it's performance-based. Your job is performance-based. If you in a performance-based job, I understand you wanting to deliver the performance. But what I'm saying is some people at job, you know, a police officer, he just do too much. Super cop. He pulling people over for no reason. He putting his hands on people when he ain't supposed to. He just doing too much. You got some Christians that like that too. They just doing too much. They just do way too much. If you guys haven't liked the video, y'all double tap the screen. Jim says he came as a lion the first time. Next time Jesus coming back, he's coming as a lion. And that's absolutely correct. Brad says, May, no, he is practicing socialism as we speak. We're having our government having ownership in private businesses. I'm not confused at all. And you're trying to call that fascist. Yeah, I agree with you, Brad. That is socialism. The world is going to move to that. The world is going to move to authoritarianism. It's coming. The age of AI, the new industrial revolution is going to bring that around. So Republicans, it don't matter who you are, you're going to be more socialist. So a form of socialism will be practiced by a Republican or Democrat in America anyway. It's coming. Keebler says Jesus was not a Christian. Look, Keebler, talking like that, a lot of people don't understand that. If you say that to the average mind or to the average person, they're probably going to say, that sounds preposterous. But it's actual factual. Christianity is a religion. It's meaning Christ-like or follower of Christ. So the Christians were named Christians by who? The Constantine or the Romans or something? I don't know history. I don't know. I don't think it's important. But they were given that name because they went around doing what Jesus told them to do, telling people the good news about the gospel of Christ. So they were named followers of Christ. Jesus cannot be a follower of himself. If the word Christian means follower of Christ, how can Christ follow himself? So I'm saying, you know. Someone says never take advice from a homeless man, folks. was homeless, then you probably shouldn't. I don't know, or maybe I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. You don't have to take no advice from me. I'm not asking for you to take advice from me. That's not what I'm asking. Who asked you to take the advice? He didn't take my advice and look at the situation here. Now, how's it gonna hurt me that you don't take my advice? The whole time, the police, Brad, listen. The police got me in a situation where they finna tow their car. The whole time, I'm basically advising them. The whole time, I'm telling them the law. The whole time, I'm telling them the mistakes. The whole time, I'm telling them how to do it better. They didn't listen to me. So what ended up happening to them? They're gonna be fighting for 2-3 years for not to pay $25,000. This police department, second police department, same situation. Not only did my advice, I'm saying I recorded the incident. I recorded it. You don't have to take my advice, brother. Look at the video. I recorded it. I know the law better than him, civil law, and I got evidence for him. He still didn't listen to me, Commander. He still wouldn't listen to me. What's happening now? They got a pending federal lawsuit for $200,000 to $120,000. The third community. Listen, the third community, I don't know how they gonna get out of it, because the third city, it was a lot of incidents. And one time in one of those incidences that happened, you see what I'm saying? And one time in one of those incidents that happened, or 2 times, I had to call the paramedics. So the police was aware that their presence was causing them. They knew it. I went and filed a reasonable accommodation. They trying to go off of something I told the doctor, that the doctor said that I was incompetent. They doctors, I went and talked to them about the situation that happened. They doctors said that I was incompetent and put me in the hospital. And the opponents, instead of seeing and admitting what they did wrong, trying to go off of something that a doctor said that declared me incompetent, as far as him thinking he gonna win a case. If you say so, buddy, you gonna have to out-argue this. Good luck. And you know you ain't smarter than me, because I'll show y'all how they stupid all the time. If they were smarter than me, they wouldn't be getting sued. If they police in their city and their organization was smarter than me, then why are you getting sued? The last situation, it's $250,000. And it's a county. And the whole time it's the same situation. I'm telling the police, I'm explaining it to them. I'm giving them advice, basically. If he took my advice, he wouldn't have got sued. None of them would have lawsuits if they took my advice. Ain't nobody taking my advice and they getting sued. You don't have to take my advice, Commander. President Trump never do. He ain't never got to listen. But you don't listen, then guess what happened? What happened? You didn't listen, and now you in a hot tub of doo-doo. You ain't got to listen to me. I'm not asking you to listen, but I'm going to still tell you what's going to happen. A man who listen, if I was a weather forecaster and I was telling you about the hurricane coming and you just come on here talking, oh, never listen to a homeless dude. I'm homeless. I sleep in a bed every night on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, but I'm homeless. You know what I'm saying? I take a shower every day on the Upper West Side of Manhattan and in a bed, but ain't nobody, listen, look at here. This how smart you are. You see that $12,000 apartment? You see that? They ain't taking no better shower than I am. In a $12,000 apartment, I'm still taking the same shower. They ain't sleeping in no better bed than I am. In a $12,000 apartment, I'm sleeping in the same bed. The only difference is I'm not paying rent and they paying rent. Never take advice for a homeless person. Who's smart? Who the one smart? I'm in a neighborhood with $20,000 apartments and I ain't paying $0 in rent. Who's smart? Who's smarter? A neighborhood of my choosing, paying $0 in rent. I'm going to choose to go stay in a neighborhood where the rent The cheapest apartment for an apartment the size of a hotel room is $2,900. And I ain't paying $0 in rent. But I don't even make $2,900 a month in supplemental income. Yet I'm staying in this neighborhood paying $0 of rent in a bed. Taking a shower every day. I don't know what he's talking about. But he's smarter than me though. He's smarter than me. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh man, I know, do not use that. You put your lawyer. I went up against 11 attorneys where the cases came to a conclusion. 12. But that 12th case ain't at a conclusion until you pass 30 days after the summary judgment to judgment. Because it could get appealed at any time within them 30 days. I filed 12 cases that came to 11 cases that came to a conclusion, and I beat the lawyer 9 out of 11 times. And I can promise you, the lawyers that I went against are much better than your attorney. Your attorney never won an appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeal. I can promise you that. Ghost, how can you say that? Because only 9% of attorneys did it. So I'm assuming that your attorney is part of the 91% who didn't, 92% who didn't. You know what I'm saying? Your attorney never won in the U.S. Court of Appeals. I'm a part of the top 8 percentile of attorneys in America. The top 8 percentile of attorneys in America. In 2024, I was in the top 8 percentile of attorneys in America. My case was in the Fifth Circuit. So I could say I was in the top 8% of attorneys in Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And here's the kicker. I'm not even an attorney. You don't have a paralegal in this country that's better than me, boy. Not one in all 50 states. That's why I'm staying in this city. Because this is a city of legends. This is an empire state. They call themselves the Empire State. Like Jay-Z say, I'm in the Empire State with an Empire State of mind. It's a city of legends and kings. Why wouldn't I be in New York City? I'm a legend and a king, boy. Listen, before I even get to the $1 million, God got me staying over here with these people because he telling me this is where you really belong. Because it's the people who win appeals in the U.S. Court of Appeals, guess where they staying? Y'all want to see? The people who win appeals in the U.S. Court of Appeals, this is where they stay at. So God said, go stay over here. I got a plan. I'm going to have you. God said he going to take them fish and that bread and he going to feed the multitude. God told me that little bit of money you get in supplemental income for Social Security every month. He said, I'm going to work miracles with that, Greg. He said, I'm going to have you going places. But, bro, you talking about, bro, in the last... Since I started this business, I've been to 30 states. I stayed in about 10 or 11 of them for longer than 30 days. It's one of those times right now. I can't count, well over 100 cities, bro. I lost count of the cities. I don't even try to keep up with the cities no more. There's so many states I can't even keep up with the cities no more I've been to. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what this man's saying about me, bro. I'm blessed and thankful. I'm highly blessed and I'm highly thankful. How many, listen, Brad, this is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm a rookie. I am a rookie. What? I'm on 4 years. What you saying? I'm only 4 years, bro. I only filed 39 cases. What you mean I am a rookie? I'm an independent business owner. If I work for Tesla, I have by this time, over 1,000 cases under my belt. But I wouldn't be a lead litigator under none of them. Mr. Kim wouldn't let me litigate one case if I worked for Tesla. Not the lead litigator, why would he? It don't make no sense. All I would be doing is all the paperwork, filing all the documents, doing all these beautiful complaints. Mr. Kim, he a great attorney anyway. Tesla got one of the top litigators in the world, not America, in the world. And Mr. Kim, if I worked for Mr. Kim, you know, Mr. Kim had me doing all the paperwork and doing all them great complaints, and he'd be winning all them cases, and I wouldn't be litigating nothing. As an independent freelance paralegal, I was able to litigate on my own. Whole cases like a lawyer. So 40 cases, your paralegal, you don't know paralegals who do what I do. It is some, not many. Most of them work for attorneys. It's very few paralegal. You can find a lot of companies like my company, but they doing writs for the public and for attorneys, and they doing legal documents for attorneys. I'm saying you find me someone who got a degree as a paralegal, a business license, and is litigating pro se, and winning all these cases, winning in the U.S. Court of Appeals. You're not gonna find that. I'm supposed to be in New York City. This is where you find somebody like me at. You ain't supposed to find me in Mississippi, maybe Texas, but you know, this the Los Angeles or New York. Ah, we got a paralegal up here, one in the U.S. Court of Appeals as a lead litigator. This boy is awesome. He good. He don't even have a law license and they haven't been training, and he know the law better than most lawyers. That's what the judge is saying. Let's see, who else saying? Oh, I'll put my lawyer up against you. Top 8% and I'll believe you. What? Yeah, top 8%. Listen, I signed an NDA, a non-disclosure order on the case, but I could give you my last name, Dixon. You put Dixon V something, just go to Chrome, go to Google right now, go to AI right now, and put Dixon V. And I can't tell you the company's name to put in there because they pay me. And I can't talk about it on the live stream, the stuff that happened during the case. I signed a non-disclosure order, a non-disclosure agreement. So I can't tell you, but and every company that I got paid off of make you sign an NDA. So I'm saying, you know how Google will populate for you. Just put Dixon V and some company gonna pop up in there. Won't it? Because it's a bunch of Dixon V and Just Law. You know, case law that you research, bro. It's lawyers that put Dixon V, that company. They use my case law all the time. My case law, they got my cases in citations all across America. They got my case in citations, boy. Case law. It's in Just Law. You doing research on cases. You could put Dixon V and I call that company's name and that case went to the U.S. Court of Appeals. What's fake about that? Ain't nothing fake about that. You saying it's a fake case? What's fake? What's fake? The court's fake? I'm fake? The judge fake? The clerk's fake? Or what you doing is fake? That's what's fake. What my opponents is doing is fake. They acting. That ain't got nothing to do with what we got going on my side. It ain't got nothing to do with what I got going on. You faking, you acting. You doing fake scenarios. I'm not a part of that. I'ma sue you. It's a violation of U.S. law. Point blank, period. Bro, I did a case for somebody recover hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. Boy got shot in the heart in Houston, Texas, in a 7-Eleven. He couldn't find a lawyer. He came to me. He told me to write out his document. I wrote out his document. I took it to a lawyer. A lawyer did the case, got over 100 racks. The lawyer made $50,000 by herself. I just wrote the document. I just wrote a document for a customer, did the same process, but she went and picked her own lawyer this time. 40 racks. 12-page document. It take me what? How long it took me to complete that document? That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, bro, I done did the work. I hadn't finished getting paid. I wasn't born rich. I didn't get no rich $1 million loan from my daddy. You see what I'm saying? Like, I paid off a car and bought another car, and you talking about $40,000, that's not much money. I helped my mama. I blessed my mama. I gave my mama about 10 racks over these years. Gave her 10,000. You talking about somebody, I'm not rich, bruh. I can't even afford to do that. You see what I'm saying? But I took care of my people, my family, man, kept it all the way 1,000. Bro, I thank God for where I'm at. How many Independent listen, forget an independent paralegal. Benjamin Crump, the general, I gotta stand up when I say this. I salute Benjamin Crump. If I see you, Ben, I salute you. Every time I see you, boy, I salute you, boy. You the general. But look, Benjamin Crump, outside of Benjamin Crump, how many attorneys you know done sued 4, 5, 6 police departments? Yeah, they got a bunch of attorneys, but I'm talking about just a civil rights. Listen, they got attorneys that specialize, like the ACLU got thousands of attorneys that specialize in going after the government and going after the police in these cities. So don't get it wrong. It ain't like nobody, like a real lawyer in America is scared of that smoke with anybody. If you really that good, you ain't scared of that smoke with anybody. The better the lawyer I go against, that's how I'm great right now. I get to prove myself. I went against some of the top 3 litigation. Timothy Kim is top 3 litigation attorney, not in America, in the whole world, boy. Top 3. I'm talking about as far as work, as far as discrimination in the job place or the work. That's how I got so good. I want the big cases. So I'm saying outside of Benjamin Crump, look, when Benjamin Crump comes to that city, that whole city sitting down. They know it. That's Ben Crump, boy. You gonna respect that. The body cameras on polices, all the police got body cameras right now. Who you think did that? Who you think did that George Floyd law? Who you think sued the city of Minneapolis for $45 million? $45 million to bankrupt your city, boy. That'll bankrupt y'all. Y'all be in bankruptcy court. The court wouldn't even want to let that not New York City, but I ain't suing New York City. I ain't got no smoke with New York City. I'm talking about that little village. It won't bankrupt that county, definitely. That county a rich county. It definitely ain't gonna bankrupt that county. It's gonna hit their pockets hard. But that city you talking about, where you talking about, you thinking you ain't gonna pay no money because you got something that the doctor said. See, the doctor they already corrupt, and but I already know the game. I know the play. We gonna just get to it. I want all the smoke, boy. Because this is where you learn how good I am. This is where I get my respect. Laugh now, cry later. I rhyme greater than the average player. Haters and spectators buy my CD twice. They see me in the streets, they be like, yo, he nice, but that's on you feel me? Laugh now, cry later. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now, baby. I took a half, she took the whole thing. Slow down, baby. You feel me? Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. You laughing now, you gonna cry later. I don't want you to respect me. I want you to think that I'm not capable of doing A, B, C, or D. I got you right where I want you. That's right where I want you. If you respecting me, then you gonna put in so much, you gonna come at me too hard. I'ma still beat you, but you gonna come at me too hard. That disrespect you think is an advantage for you, but that disrespect keep me sharp. You disrespecting me is gonna make me mad. You not thinking I have the ability, it's gonna drive and bring the best out of me. And you gonna lose. You don't wanna see me at 100%. Ain't nobody beating me. That's not no brag. The people that know me know I became a humble dude. At 100%, ain't nobody beating me. If I giving you the advice at 100%, ain't nobody, no one's giving you nothing better than that. Nobody. And I want you to laugh. That's what I want you to do. I don't want you to take me serious. I want you to laugh. If I come on here and say President Trump shouldn't do that, I want him. Y'all tell him to do exact opposite of everything I tell him to do. Tell him to do the exact opposite of everything I tell him to do. And see how it turned out for him. I want you to laugh. I want you to say we ain't taking no advice from no homeless God. Look, God works miracles all the time. And he working a miracle in my life right now. Whether you believe it or can see it or not, that's my faith. The Bible says to delight in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. My desire was to travel. That was my desire. And he gave me my desire. I'm talking about doing something that is impossible for me to afford. It's impossible for me to afford That's what I'm trying to show y'all. It's impossible for me to afford, and I'm doing it. A whole blessing. Why this man calling me homeless, I'm praising my God. If he was in my situation, he'd be cursing God. You see what I'm saying? Because he think it's a bad situation. But while he calling me homeless, I'm praising my God. I'm worshiping God. Remember that now when I get them checks. And you say, oh, he just talking about God and he just walking around passing out and he just want to be a millionaire. That's the only reason why he just want to be a millionaire. Hey, Devin says, let me cook, baby. I believe. I thank you for that, Devin. You see what I'm saying? I thank you for that. But Devin, the people who know, ask Aloha Kitty. Aloha, where you at, baby? Ask Aloha. Aloha, no. Aloha, tell him, baby. Tell him, sweetheart. Aloha was here the first time whenever they had got me in a bad situation. She saw me get the money. Aloha, did I stop praising God? Did anything change the way I acted or behaved? No, I got closer to God. Aloha, after I lost the savings or I spent the savings, and now what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to get mad at God now, huh? I'm supposed to pout. People keep messing with me. They keep harassing me. I'm a good dude. I got a good heart. Living for God. I went celibate 5 years. 5 out of the 8 years that I was a Christian. You got to understand, I made a profession of faith, accepting Christ, due to me realizing, coming to the realization that I hadn't came to the knowledge of Christ yet. So I made a profession of faith and got saved. When I came to the knowledge of Christ, it was due to me sleeping with 95 girls in 18 months. Boy, I went wild crazy, buck wild crazy. From 2016 to 2018, a year and a half period of time, I slept with how many girls I told you? Not more than 95. I'm just telling you 95. That's what led me to becoming a Christian. You can't blame that on nobody but me. I decided to go against Christ. I wasn't a Christian. When I became a Christian, ever since then I became a Christian, bro, I'm telling you. I only been with a few girls, man, 8 years. 5 of those years celibate. I changed, man. I'm not the same person. I didn't say I wasn't going to make mistakes. I didn't say I was going to sin. Jesus said if we sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. It don't matter, bro. What. This is what it is. This is where we at. This is what we got to deal with. Point blank period. Look, man, as I sat out here, something happened this morning. You know what I'm saying? People just breaking civil law. You know, when you violate civil law, the police don't show up or nothing happen, but they keep doing it. And they keep, you know what I'm saying? I know this don't have to pertain with the content, but I deliver the content. And I wouldn't have never talked about this, but this is legal wars. So I got a lot of people get down there in the live stream and they talk about my legal wars. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Like I told them, like I was moving a whole lot. I was going a whole lot of different places. But this last time I told them I was going to stay in Manhattan, man, it's just the best thing for my business. I just explained to you, you know what I'm saying, New York City is the city. It's the biggest city in America. In my opinion, it's the greatest city on earth. New York City is the city where you have a whole lot of people in it that, you know what I'm saying, are great. We saw an actor the other day. He just walking down the street. It happens all the time in New York. He lives on the Upper West Side. He was within 20 feet of me. You know what I'm saying? I want to respect his privacy. I don't want to tell his famous people all around, all through here. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm famous or nothing, but I know God called me for this purpose. And if God called me, I can't help but be great. Because God is great. You might not believe it. You might think whatever you want to think. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? The Lord bless us with gorgeous women too. That's the what God did. The greatest thing God created was a gorgeous woman. That's my opinion. You might feel how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I love mountains too. I love beautiful scenery, but that's the best scenery you could have. You could ask every man around, ask all the guys. That's the best scenery. That's the best scenery you could have. But yeah, man, people keep breaking the law, man. They breaking my civil rights, and I just got to show people that I'm not complicit with that. You know what I'm saying? Because people keep like, they trying to act like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know, I got something to do with what's going on. I don't have no, because it just seemed like, how can he get the police in these kind of situations? And they going off of something I told a doctor that's supposed to be confidential. I don't care if she wrote it in the doctor's notes. Why would she write something like that? You gonna get questioned why you even writing that. I'm saying, like, but if you think whatever you think you could be God, just outsmart God. All I'm telling you is I'm in New York City. I'm not going nowhere. And I'm not playing with nobody. You got to understand that. I'm not leaving this city. You could do whatever you want to do, but I'm just letting you know that I'm not complicit with what you're doing. Yeah, and I'm taking it higher. I'm going to take it higher and higher. I done told that organization what was going on. They're not trying to stop it. They're complicit to it. I'm not saying they're doing it. I don't have no kind of proof. But the organization is doing it. It's going on. I'm not complicit to what's going on. I told you I'm staying in Manhattan. That ain't up for no debate. I'm saying I'm not complicit to what that organization's doing, and it's not okay. So we're going to have to stop this. It's going to get stopped one way or the other. One way or the other. It's going to get stopped one way or the other. That's just how it goes. So this morning, you know what I'm saying? You know, we going to let them do what they do. You know what I'm saying? We going to let them do what they do. I'm a legal dude, bro. Like, I'll sue a municipality, but I'll work with them too. That being said, y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not complicit, or I do not agree with no violation of civil rights that happens to me or nobody else for any money. I'm not trying to get no money. I could get money, boy. I had a plan with this business to be in Texas right now working for the state. Get money. I got the qualifications and the education, whether you want to believe it or not. You see what I'm saying? But because I can't do that, I keep having to file cases to fight for my civil rights. I just want to be clear. And this is showing you that it's clear that I am not complicit to what my civil rights being violated. I got to do this. Because they trying to act like I'm running a scam or I'm doing something wrong. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just letting you know I'm not complicit with you violating my civil rights. That business might be complicit to civil rights getting violated, but not Ghost. I'm not complicit to that. That being said, that's my time. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, guys. I love y'all. We're going to be right here in Manhattan. We're going to be right here in New York City, man. God willing that I live, we're going to be right here. That being said, I'll see y'all in the morning, guys. Christ is King.